Maybe. What's going on, Star Wars fans?
Hello there.
We are back. It's Wednesday evening, and we're going to talk Star Wars. So, new stuff, rumors, whole bunch of different things we're going to get into tonight. Mike, Nick, and Derek are all here tonight, and I think we got some pretty cool things to talk about. I know that, Mike, you had a great podcast yesterday, so if you guys hadn't listened already, you need to go check Mike's podcast out. He had a great podcast yesterday. So there's so much new stuff coming out, which is totally awesome, and it's fun that we get to talk about it. I'm so looking forward to the Maul series. Because we will have exact stuff that we can, devour into and just go for it, and it'll be so much fun as we have every week. So, thank you guys for being here. I also want to thank everybody in the stream here, all of our fun guests that are on here that enjoy our podcast every week. So we really appreciate you guys coming on. Max Rebo is here as always, and he's always the first one to start chatting. So thanks, Max, for being here. Along with Jarvo was jumped in here pretty early as well. So thank you guys for joining us. Darth Plagueis, 50 Thunder, Nathan, thank you guys all for being here. And we're gonna talk Star Wars. So
I'm gonna hide behind the words.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I'm gonna hide behind the words.
I can actually take them off because everybody can still see them if I take them off.
There we go. Now I feel good.
Now you feel better.
Yeah.
So I did want to let everybody know that tonight will be my last podcast from this house because I am moving. So don't get too worried. We will all still be back next Wednesday. But I
was texting him like, dude, you're moving right now. Like, you have trucks full of stuff. Why are you doing the podcast now? You're like, I love Star Wars.
That's right. I love stuff. So, so if you guys don't know, you haven't seen the room, but obviously, as you can tell behind me, the room that I have is literally a museum. And besides this stuff that's set up, this is what my house looks like right now. Because
at least you got the Han Solo on the wall.
Yes, I do have Han still on there.
I didn't know your walls were gray.
Yeah, actually.
There's pictures and everything else on there. So, yes, it will be an interesting couple weeks because I will have to start putting everything back in. We actually moved today, and I got all the curio cabinets and all my pictures and stuff up, which is insane, the amount of stuff that is packed up in this room that is all Star Wars. So I'm excited about it, but I'm also a little nervous. So, but I will be taking this podcast down. I don't know what next week will look like, so everybody's going to have to come back and check it out. So
I won't be here. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Derek. That means you have to be here.
Right,
No,
exactly.
no, I don't. I'm hoping it's warm enough that I can go play some golf like I did last year. It'll be great.
There you go. We'll make you a cake and then we'll just eat it ourselves.
That
That's
sounds
right.
great. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I am 50 Thunder. I'm not moving to Docking Bay 94, which, I mean, that would be pretty cool. I would be all right.
What Star Wars planet are you moving to?
Yes. If I could. See, and that's the thing. Let's start with that, and then we'll get into some other things.
Well,
Since you brought that up, that's a pretty good segue, right? I thought that's a pretty good segue, right?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Mike. It's a terrible segue.
Okay. Well, Mike, you asked the question.
Oh, okay. Well, if you were to move to a planet in Star Wars, which planet would that be?
Well,
I guess Nick's gonna start. Nick,
oh, okay.
first.
I'll start. I don't know why. First thing that came to mind was Naboo. It looks really nice, very scenic, kind of cool.
It's hard not to watch Attack of the Clones and not want to go there.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
that's what I got so far.
Derek?
Ooh, Batu, baby. All about
yeah.
Batu. I love it all. And I've been there. I've been to Batu. So like
Is there a lot of
sometimes
crime on Batu though?
No. It's a really peaceful planet. Just there's been some things that have happened, but I think overall it's pretty good.
Yeah, I suppose.
Ron broke the system. While he's doing that, I was gonna talk about our new microphones. Nick has not picked up his microphone yet.
Nope.
Slacker. But we all of us, except for Nick has one. It's at Ron's house. It might be packed up now, but we are all on these beautiful SE Electronics Dynacaster microphones. So thanks to our wonderful friends at SE for sending us these microphones, because they are by far the best mics on the market. These are incredible.
As a man named Mike, I can tell you that this is a great
mic. Yeah, and our friends at SE are amazing to work with, so we love them. And Nick he has one. It's just not at his house.
I'm really excited to plug it in because you guys sound incredible.
Yeah, you sound like garbage.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why, and it might be because I tickle the ivories. I play the piano. To me, it always looks like Nick is sitting in front of a keyboard. Like the microphone makes him look like he's about to sing something.
There is one underneath my desk.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Can we like superimpose Billy Joel as Darth Vader with the harmonica?
Yeah, it's
isn't this a Star Wars show? Are we supposed to be talking about Star Wars?
I mean, it is Star Wars. I mean, that's Darth Vader. And I actually made or was on the project for making his signature harmonica. So when that came out, like when people started doing that meme, I was pumping that in our marketing. It's like, go,
that's awesome.
Go.
He kind of has like an oblong shaped harmonica in the triangle of his, mouth anyway.
Yeah.
So
yes, it's a Marine band. Not that anybody cares. Ron would care if he was here, but he broke something, so I don't know what he did.
I like Max back to Star Wars. I like Max Rebo's answer here.
Scarif would be good.
Pre Rogue One and maybe pre Empire. Eminent domain on the place.
Yeah.
Nice place.
I think.
I guess the same would be like Pabu in the Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
I guess pre tsunami Pabu would be great.
Yeah, I think post New Hope Alderaan.
Q Max Rebo's.
Don't you say it. Don't do it, Max. No. Don't do it.
Yeah, a big part of my podcast yesterday was talking about Cal Kestis, and of course he died on Alderaan, so nothing really matters.
I can't wait to wear my poncho for a year.
That'd be so great. But back, I guess, to the Star Wars topic at hand. There's it's StarWarsNewsNet.com, but they have the great countdowns going till the release of Maul Shadowlord and the Mandalorian Grogu. We're just looking at Ron's. Yeah, okay.
There's no incriminating photos up there.
Yeah.
But there we go. But the Mandalorian Grogu comes out in 71 days, and Maul Shadowlord in 25. 25 days is like right around the corner. It's crazy.
Man, 71 feels so low compared to like what we've been dealing with.
Feels like we've been waiting for years.
Star Wars Newsnet is a great resource.
Oh yeah,
great articles on there.
Yeah,
everyone should check that out.
But yeah,
as Ron has this thing going. Would you say 25 days?
25 days.
And I know we have Jacob in the chat. Does that mean we get 1 or 2 more comic issues, depending on when it lands?
Yeah,
before
I think
it starts.
1.
Okay.
Yeah, because we talked about that last week, and I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 1 a month, so I think it's just 1 more.
To be fair, I don't remember what I had for breakfast, so.
But at least you remember a lot about Star Wars.
I sure do. I was talking to somebody the other day about that, and I'm like, the amount of useless information in my head and Star Wars, not Star Wars is useless. But you think I can remember my social security number? Nope.
If you wouldn't mind putting it in the chat, and we can figure it out for you.
Yeah, nothing. Everybody wants somebody with a bunch of debt and a low credit score. Why not?
You can remember.
That's not true.
You can remember the cell number of Leia in A New Hope, but some numbers are more important than others.
I mean, it is what it is. I do know the code to Contra.
There
There you go.
Oh, there he is.
I hear him.
Sounded like Darth Maul. Oh,
That
there
was
he is.
very ominous.
Kenobi.
We kind of went off the rails since you've been gone. So
Yeah.
I
I
heard-
don't think.
I could hear you
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Were you just pushing buttons? Were you button mashing over there, Ron? What happened?
trying, and then
So here's
I
the
found
problem, Chad. Ron's in charge here, so like whenever he goes up, we just go completely off the rails and things just
I know.
lose all traction.
I was hoping somebody would pick up some Star Wars stuff and we could talk about. You could talk about.
We were
Star
getting
Wars.
there, you know. You just got to ride the wave. We were getting there.
I mean, I talked about two of your favorite things, harmonicas and Star Wars. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
we were trying to lure you back in.
I was trying. So here I am. One thing I did want to talk about. I will say, I know you guys went through and talked about planets. Honestly, I'm a cold guy. I would love to do Elam or Hoth. I think that would be pretty cool.
Mm.
See, my problem is it's cold every day of the year. Like the one
Boston.
biome thing is killer. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't roll
So-
that way.
I mean, Mustafar's pretty nice.
Yeah, but Ron's one of those like wears shorts when it's snowing, and I'm just not that guy. Some people are that guy. And I admire that. That is
Pull it up,
That is a thing.
Derek. Pull it up. Are we going to pull up the planets? Yeah. Let's
Oh my
figure
gosh.
out. I
okay.
don't know. Pick
Is there an
Pick a
enter
hood.
your own?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there is.
yeah.
I think
there
maybe.
is. Yeah, there's like an ask
That'd be
a
pretty
question
cool.
type thing.
Yeah, we're gonna try. All right, let me get this
So
thing
I
going.
did want to talk about this. So when I was getting ready, and I had already posted stuff about tonight, which we'll talk about. You know, everything that's going on, the rumors with Boba Fett and and all this stuff going on with everything coming out. So, but after I did that, and after I posted it, I was starting to look for some more Star Wars stuff, and then when we got on, Mike found some more new Star Wars stuff. But the biggest thing right now that a lot of people are talking about on the internet, and I don't think this is the actual cool, the good photo, but is Stinky.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Look at him.
I
It's
mean, he's jacked.
Look at him. Yeah, what a specimen.
I thrive in life to look like Stinky the Hut.
What a crop.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
I just thought that was interesting that this right now is the big thing that everybody's talking about. And, you know, as we talk about every week and Mike talks about, you know, 3 times a week, there's so much Star Wars stuff and so many good things going on. But when we have things like this and you see, I mean, that looks real. I mean, this movie is going to be fantastic. You know, no matter what anybody says, this is going to be an amazing movie. And I think that everything that's going on with it, you know, people say Star Wars is dead. And if they think that, when they see this movie, I think they're going to change their mind. And everything that we have coming out in reference to this has been fantastic. We don't know what the plot is, which I think, again, I think we'd all like to, but a lot of people like to be surprised and things like that. But my big thing is it's going to be good. When you have Dave behind it and John behind it, this is going to be an amazing movie. And everything that we've gotten so far from The Mandalorian, you know, has been good. You know, people, season 3, people are like, you know, but it's they're all good adventures. Some of them are a little bit corny, you know, but it's still there's still something behind each one of them. And that's what I love about Star Wars. It doesn't matter whether you like every single episode, every single, you know, credit that comes out for it or whatever, or the new characters or things like that. You have to take some of those things with a grain of salt, because all in all, Star Wars is an amazing franchise and we're getting more and more. And there's no, you know, sorry, Max, there's no fucking way that Star Wars is dead.
Yeah, I could not agree with that more. But to your point, though, on how good this movie looks and how hopefully successful it's going to be, just from a, I guess, normie perspective, for us, seeing Stinky the Hut is like seeing the character that we saw from the Clone Wars movie. Like, that's cool. But to a person who has no idea who the hell that is, they're seeing it as this is Jabba, who they obviously know from the original trilogy from 40 plus years ago, his son returning. So for normie fans and for hardcore fans alike, this is still a cool thing. Like, this character being there is still really, really cool, because for us, it's a throwback to the Clone Wars and Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan. And to even normie fans, it's a throwback to the Return of the Jedi with Jabba, which is great. So I think this movie, of probably all the foreseeable future movies like Starfighter and the Rey movie and whatever, is the most likely one to please hardcore fans and normie new fans, whatever you want to call them, because of Grogu, because of this Hutt stuff, because of all that. It's closest to the original trilogy, and it's hopefully going to span across the majority of the Star Wars fans, new, prequel, original trilogy, sequel trilogy, any amount of fans that want to watch this movie.
As we go on here, I'd be interested, along with the chat as well. What do you guys think about this? Are you guys super excited? Is just 1 out of 10? Are you 1 being I don't really give a shit, or 10 like I can't wait for this movie to come out? And I'd like to ask you guys. And Nick, I'm going to start with you.
1 through 10.
Yeah, and then just sort of explain why.
I think I'm always at a 8 to 10, just because there's something about like Star Wars in theaters that I think gets the 4 of us and everyone in the chat into like a different mindset. I'm saying that having no knowledge of what the movie is, really, right? And that's fine. I'm just excited to go into the theater. I mean, shoot, even though it was, it's my favorite Star Wars movie, when Revenge of the Sith was back in theaters, it just felt different, and Ron and I went, and it was awesome. But the experience alone would have me near a 10. I like The Mandalorian. I think it's great. And like Mike said, it's like been a pretty big success with like casual fans, I think, especially for igniting basically igniting Disney Plus in general. And so I think that's a big deal. And I totally agree that it's probably going to be the best way to get everybody back involved, whether you're like us or you're a more casual fan or you've never seen anything. I think it's going to be kind of accessible in that way. And I think that's what I'm excited more than anything. I don't know what the hell is going to happen, right? Like we've spent weeks speculating on what could happen and what the possibilities are. And I feel like I'm just ready to experience it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The reason I hesitate to go full 10 or like full 9 even is because I feel like we haven't gotten like the big push yet, like the big ramp up. It's different when you have, for saga films, a year-long buildup of marketing and it kind of invading everything in our culture. That gets you really excited. I personally haven't seen it out there other than like the stuff we follow. I haven't gone to the store and it's just like Mando and Grogu everywhere or anything like that. So I feel like once that starts up, which it should,
the end of April.
Yeah, I think that's how I feel. But
yeah, no, and I think even more for when it comes out in the summer, almost summertime, you're going to get a ton of that stuff for Christmas, which you'll see that stuff in the in Walmart and Target and everywhere else, Disney stores, with all the new merchandise coming out once the movie does drop, which is, again, they've done that year after year. So Derek, what's your thoughts on this one?
In the words of the late Billy Bob from Varsity Blues, 10. 10. Give it a 10. So I'm ready for it. I want it all. Give me all that smoke. I want to see it. I can't wait. I'm going, that night to see it, like the first showing.
Well, you need to fly to Boston with me.
Man, I'm trying to think where I'm at. I think I should be in town. Maybe I could fly out. Maybe I'll ship out to Boston.
Come on, let's go.
Sounds like a plan. I'm at a 10 too. I mean, to have a Star Wars movie, like Nick said, in theaters is just a it's a completely different experience than watching it on Disney Plus. And as good, as high quality as the Disney Plus shows have been, and I'm rewatching Andor right now with Sam, like they are movie quality. The Mandalorian is movie quality on Disney Plus, but seeing it on the big screen, sitting in the theater with Star Wars fans, feeling that excitement when something crazy happens and people like have an audible reaction, like that is something that just can't be replaced. And I think this movie's going to have some pretty big twists and turns, which will be cool to see in the theaters. But as soon as, even for people who aren't as excited right now, as soon as that marketing does kick up, you're going to see things that I guess people will get people excited. There was the rumor that Embo was going to be in this movie, but seeing him in the trailer was something else. Like people got ridiculously excited for that. Again, seeing the Hutts and seeing Stinky in the gladiator ring, like that's what gets people talking. There's got to be more than that. Like that's just the tip of the iceberg. And we talk about Boba Fett, we talk about Bo-Katan and characters like that who could very well be in the trailers for the movie if they want to really get people excited. But yeah, it's crazy to think that we're getting a Star Wars movie in 70 days and we really don't know much about the plot in this world of leaks and scoops and all this stuff. We don't know what's going on.
I'm interested is why do you think if maybe Boba Fett, but again, the normie fans think he's still dead. But
yes,
if you put Bo-Katan in the trailer or Boba Fett, why do you think that hype would go up? I mean, I guess Boba Fett for sure, but Bo-Katan, you know, unless you're a Katie Sackhoff fan or you know, whatever else she's been.
A lot of guys that aren't.
Right. You know,
well, that's the thing. Like, yes, Bo-Katan has been a character that's been around for so long. It's like, I guess Zeb is. I don't really know. I feel like Bo-Katan and Zeb are on the same level. Like she's been around since the Clone Wars. Zeb is in Rebels. She's also in Rebels. She's in Mando season 3, the entire season, and she's in Mando season 2 for a little bit as well. So it's to, I guess, the very normie fan wouldn't know her at all. The normie fan would probably recognize her, and everybody else knows her because she's been around for forever. So I think that would be a pretty big thing and a big deal. And clearly they think it's going to be a big deal because they're keeping it a secret so hard. I actually just saw from 5 hours ago, Katie Sackhoff on whether Bo-Katan will appear in The Mandalorian Grogu. This is a quote from Katie, by the way, from today. Quote, "I cannot confirm nor deny if you're going to see her in the movie, but I can promise you that you haven't seen the last of her." That's pretty much, yes,
She's
I'm in the movie.
She's in
yeah.
the movie.
Well, and
I cannot confirm nor deny.
We were talking about that maybe last time or the time before. Like, if you're continuing the Mandalorian story, it's not a like crazy thing for her to be in this movie.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
what's weird is how they would like not want to show her in trailers because, like you said, Mike, casual fans won't know. They'll see like a Mandalorian that looks cool. You know,
Yeah.
Really casual fans. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. Really casual fans might not know the difference between Boba Fett and the Mandalorian if they've never seen any of it, you know? And so I think they'd see her and think it's cool, and then we would all go crazy. So I think what's more odd is like holding her back unless there's some kind of really important story involving the Mandalorians, which probably does have to happen because that was kind of the big success of season 3 for them. But yeah, it's funny how like we would love to see her and we feel like she's coming back, but it would make total sense for her to be around anyway. You know?
Yeah, if there's any point in the movie where Din and Grogu get separated, Grogu gets captured, Din gets captured, if at any point they get in trouble, the first place he would turn to is the Mandalorians because he was just with them and they would help him out. Mm-hmm. So it seems like a no-brainer to have a character, specifically her, show up in this movie. And it could be a big save the day thing, and that's why they're keeping it a secret. Like they're losing the battle, whatever this battle is at the end of the movie. Din is like on his last breath here, and then the Mandalorians come in and save the day with Bo-Katan at the front of that. So maybe they're trying to keep it a surprise because they want that to be a surprise. But it seems like a no-brainer to have her be involved with that. Boba, I guess, is a different situation because he's not in season 3. He hasn't been seen in a while. But I still think he could be in it too.
There's also probably a subset of fans who only know Bo-Katan from The Mandalorian, you know, like who watched the series and loved it, but didn't watch any animation. So they might expect her, you know. But I agree with you on the Boba Fett thing. I feel like I saw, maybe it was from Star Wars Newsnet as well, Tamura Morrison essentially saying that Boba Fett as a character is kind of shelved for right now.
Yeah.
Again, actors are barred in various ways, you know, and they lie all the time to keep the NDA strong. But I also like the connection to the Hutts would be one thing, but I don't think for Mandalorian purposes, Boba Fett would be involved in this anyway. He's busy. So
yeah, he's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
He's got a lot on his plate.
Well, I guess my question in the connective piece would be, do you think that like Stinky is actually the heir to the Hutts? I mean, Jabba's palace? Because Bib Fortuna somehow survived the explosion, you know, but he's sitting on the throne, and Boba Fett comes in to kill him to take over Jabba's palace. Now Boba's palace, I suppose. But wouldn't it be Stinky's right? Wouldn't that be like his throne to take? So maybe that does tie in Boba Fett, if that's
or does he want it? Maybe he just doesn't want that life.
Yeah, maybe he's a gladiator by choice.
I mean, you don't look like that unless you really kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
He looks good.
Well, Hutts survive hundreds of years. That's the thing too. So like he's probably in his teenage rebellious years, you know, where he's getting jacked and going into gladiator fights.
We've all done it.
I mean, we've all been there.
We've all done that.
I used to do the same thing.
I had those two giant axes. I was going crazy.
Yeah.
No, I just think that maybe the twins, in some weird underworld way of trying to get back at Boba Fett, want to get Stinky to go claim the throne and be like, a Hutt should be there, Boba Fett shouldn't. And maybe Boba's not in the movie, but it leads to like a Boba Fett season 2 storyline or something. That would be really cool. Like it ends with the twin Hutts still wanting to go reclaim Jabba's land. But a character like Boba Fett, who hasn't been seen since his show ended 4 years ago, and even Cobb Vanth, who's in the post-credit scene where he's supposed to be in the back of the tank because he survived his battle versus Cad Bane, who hasn't been seen in 4 years, like those characters are supposed to be very relevant and important in this Mandoverse stuff. So their return to the big screen, or their return to the small screen even, it should be right around the corner, and we just might not know about it yet.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I think you've also talked about, I'm pretty sure, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think they're talking about it in is it Jeremy Allen White, who's voicing him, says that they're going to be spending some time together. So it'll be interesting to see what that involves. And I like your other theory where maybe they team up, you know, because he doesn't, like Derek just said, he doesn't want to live that gangster life, you know. And I think the twin Hutts obviously want to take over that you know, on Tatooine. So that's probably why they're still going to be in this movie. But I think that Stinky might want to get out of this, and who knows whether he's in that ring because he wants to be or he's forced to be. And you know, and that'll be the interesting, I think, story when we see it on the big screen, is if they're going to, you know, team up, and why they team up. Are they still going to hate each other, and they're like, all right, you know what, the old saying, you know, my enemy is your enemy, or whatever the hell it is. But you know what I mean, where they're fighting something else together because they don't like that person. They still might not like each other, but let's team up and kick this guy's ass because neither one of us like him. And I think, and I feel that that's more, my opinion is that's more of a likely story instead of him, you know, trying to take over Jabba's palace, because I think he would have at that point. And like you said, Mike, you know, why is Bib Fortuna there? You know, he has just because everything else. But I'm surprised that the Hutts, and maybe we'll get an answer to that at some point. But why wouldn't some of the other Hutts take over, whether it's cousins or brothers or whatever they are? Instead, you have Bib Fortuna taking over, who obviously is pretty weak, as we can see, in Empire, in Jedi, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out with Stinky as this huge, Arnold Schwarzenegger looking, Hutt.
Well, I
That'd be
also
great if that was his voice. That'd be so awesome.
Arnold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be so great.
I could see the logic behind they're pissed about Boba killing Bib Fortuna. Bib Fortuna being the spineless guy that he is, was just kind of like, ruler in name only, and the Hutts basically directed him, like easily controlled. The old Snoke quote about having a rabid cur in high positions of power because they just do whatever you want. But and then they're mad that Boba kind of takes over and whatever. But I don't know about you guys. I kind of got the feeling through the trailer, which again says nothing, but that they might have hired Din to go kill him in the gladiator ring. Like they don't want a challenger. They don't want the shot of maybe, they're like Jabba style fat. They're on a little thing all the time being carried around. And this is a Arnold Schwarzenegger of Hutts. If he decides he wants in, what are they going to do to stop him? And he's got a big name to him. So,
with Stinky and everything going on, I could see a character that I could see easily popping up is Chrysanthemum. And I think that would make a lot of sense because he has those ties, and maybe you don't have Boba Fett in there. Maybe Boba Fett sends him. Again, the ties to the Hutts, and he's massive and strong.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought up the whole gladiator fight, because Ron, I sent you that picture of the. Yeah, can you pull that up? Yep. So from what I'm gathering of this picture, and from what I've been hearing online, we got this picture right here. Now the main focus is the guy in the middle, the bald guy. He was one of the Shadow Council members from The Mandalorian Season 3. And we'll get to that in a second. But as you can tell, on the left side of your screen, Grogu is in a bird cage. And
it's like Jeff Bezos.
Oh, yeah, maybe it is. Star Wars Bezos.
But Grogu's in a birdcage. So from what I've been hearing, it's that they're, of course, watching the Din Djarin gladiator fight. And Grogu's pretty much put in that cage, held captive. And in order for Din to sort of save him, or I don't really know, pay off a debt or something, I don't know what it is, but he's got to win the gladiator fight. So Grogu is in prison. Now, for being honest, I mean, Grogu can probably get out of this pretty easily with his force abilities and, all that other stuff. But that seems to be why Din is agreeing to, and willingly, I guess, fighting in this gladiator ring versus all the chess pieces and versus Stinky as well. So I guess my question to you guys is, how do we get to that point? Like, how do we go from the two of them, as we see in the trailer, sitting in the audience, eating the Mantel mix and whatever, to Din being in the gladiator ring while Grogu's in a birdcage? Like, that's the weird thing. I don't know what's going on in this movie. And the crazy part of all that is that guy, Imperial Warlord, might just take Grogu in the birdcage and leave. Like, and then Din might have to go to the Hutts, and that's how we get the whole removing helmet thing. Like, we don't know anything about this movie.
Strong at this point to even like a little metal bird cage. I don't know, but
yeah.
Max said, "Does the guy with the broken horn look familiar?" Yeah, he looks like Howie Mandel in Little Monsters, but red instead of blue. That's the first. I was like, "Whoa!" It's a red Howie Mandel from Little Monsters. If you don't know that movie, Mike, you were definitely not alive. Nick, you probably weren't alive. That's a great movie that did not hold up.
I think what Max was trying to say is he does look like the Jedi Master. That's the same species. I believe his name was Master Tim.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
CC Tim.
So it's obviously not him, but yeah, it's the same species for sure. But now that you mention it, let's talk about Jeff Bezos there. So Jon Favreau,
Jeffrey Bezos.
Jon Favreau's quote on this guy is perplexing to say the least. So his quote is, where the hell is it? Hang on 1 second. All right, here we go. So Jon Favreau says that the name of the specific Imperial warlord that we're looking at right here in the Mandalorian Grogu will interest fans, as he says, quote, "You will like his character name when you hear it." Meaning it'll be recognizable or a joke or something like you'll like it when you hear it. What the hell does that mean?
It's Raymond.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, and my thing is do we not have a name for him from?
No.
So when we go back to the other picture that I had, we don't have any names on any of these characters that we know of.
Those 5, no. One of the Shadow Council members we do know is Pelion, or 2 actually, Pelion and Hux, who are not. Yeah, these are not any of them. But yeah, none of these 5 we don't know their names, but we do know that the 2 on the farthest right, top and bottom, are going to be in the Mandalorian Grogu movie. Confirmed. The bottom right is in the trailer, and the top right is what we're talking about right now, the Bezos guy. So Jon Favreau saying, yeah, Dr. Evil. Jon Favreau saying that you'll like his character name when you hear it. I've been looking around. Nobody's really come up with an answer to this. Legends character, maybe.
Told you it's
nothing.
Raymond Skywalker.
I really got nothing, unless it's an Imperial that maybe is from before, like during the Empire days, or even before that. I don't know, but to have a recognizable name that Jon Favreau goes, "Oh, you guys like that when you hear it," it's I don't know. I'm lost on this one.
Well, and my thing too is, and I think somebody else, either one of you guys said it or somebody in the chat did. I mean, he's in a bird cage. Why doesn't he just get his way out of there?
I do like
by design.
Those will be interesting questions or that will be answered, in reference to that. I don't know what type of Holly said something about that bird, but it's interesting to see something like that. So, like you were talking about, Mike, this movie is going to have so much stuff in it, and we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg with pictures like this and some of the stuff that we have coming out. And you have to go, when you're going from Disney Plus to the big screen, like we were talking about earlier, I think we're going to see Boba. I think we're going to see Bo-Katan, because Bo-Katan is definitely part of this Mandoverse, and so is Boba Fett. But Boca's in Mando, so there's no reason that they wouldn't put her in there, especially if you're going to go to the big screen. As big as it was on Disney Plus, that they did these 3 seasons, and now they're going to make a movie about it. You're going to see people like that in there, because that is a main character in this movie.
Holly did mention in the chat, if you want to pull that one up, a specific warlord. Again, I don't know what this name is or how to pronounce it, I suppose. But Zinj, sure. I did look him up. Not familiar with the name. He's a Legends character. He appears in a lot of stuff. Sorry. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, so he appears as mentioned in the X-Wing stuff. He's in the New Jedi Order stuff, but all by mention only. Like he's just mentioned in all these things. So not very important character, I suppose. But from what I gather, and the interesting part that sort of connects him to all of this, I suppose, is that this Legends character, at some point after the Battle of Yavin, is sent by Emperor Palpatine himself to the planet of Dathomir to prevent the escape of the Force-sensitive Night Sisters. So he does have a connection to the planet of Dathomir. In Legends, it says he dies on Dathomir, or over the planet of Dathomir. So maybe it's connected to that, and that would give us a connection to Thrawn and the Night Sisters in Dathomir, which would be great. But for John Favreau, as much as I love the guy, he's not the Star Wars nerd that Dave Filoni is. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wouldn't recognize a name like that and be like, oh, you fans are going to like this. Like,
Right.
that wouldn't really be something I think he would say. But maybe I'm wrong.
Should we go around and do some guesses? Or like,
Yeah, go for it. Because I literally, I got, other than this Legends guy, who, again, the chat found, I got nothing. I got nothing because I can't think of a First Order guy who's really, really old in the sequels that it could be. And I can't think of a guy from the Empire, like maybe a side character in A New Hope or something that it could be either.
I've got a crazy one.
Let's hear it.
Eli Vanto.
Now that would be crazy.
Would that be the right age? Just kind of middle-aged at that point?
Interesting. I don't know why. I mean, obviously Eli is only seen in my head because he's words on a page, but I just don't imagine Eli looking like that. I guess it's possible.
And he's out with the chiss. I don't know if, I'm just trying to think of, like, it would either for Favreau to say it, like you said, it would either have something to do with what's like fans are keeping tabs on. So it'd be like all this Mandoverse stuff, or it's cool, or it's like a cool name. Or it's like some guy we forgot about from Clone Wars or Rebels that is a good use, because as much as Favreau might not be a crazy nerdy fan, he's got Filoni in his pocket,
True.
He can just kind of throw him in there.
Yeah. The Vanto thing would be really cool. I just looked it up to see how old he was. He's born approximately, and they don't even have an age, but approximately 28 to 35 years before the Battle of Yavin, making him in his 20s when he met Thrawn in the books there. So, I mean, that would put him in his
a really haggard 40,
late 40s, maybe early 50s, possibly. Yeah, that would be wild. That didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, I don't know how that'd be a little too complicated, but
yeah, how would he become a warlord? I guess would be the question.
Yeah, and why would he leave the chiss and that sort of thing? But
interesting.
True.
Yeah, it's Mace Windu. Yeah, he got hit by a lot of lightning, and that'll change a man.
Okay,
I like that. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, I guess the joke I've been seeing a lot is that it's Snoke, pre-Force Snoke, become giant. Like Snoke is like 8 feet tall. Like I don't know.
So that's a good segue. I'm interested to think or see what you guys think. Do you think we'll ever get the answer to, besides being Snoke, who he actually is or how he became? I mean, I know we have a little bit of an idea of what's going on, but do you think that we're going to get that actual answer of, what was it taken from Anakin? Was there something taken from some sort of DNA from Anakin or some other Force user to create this 8 foot tall, ugly looking dude that is now, the supreme whatever of, So I'm interested. Do you guys think that we'll get an answer to that at some point in a book, or do you think it'll be in a live action, or maybe in Starfighter, or as we go along and see how Elam gets worked into this new weapon and things like that? Do you think we'll find out?
I think it'll be in an animated, if anything, like a Tales of.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I hope it's in all of this live action stuff. I hope again that it's Thrawn who somehow figures out what people haven't been able to so far. Like Palpatine has not been able to accomplish a Project Necromancer, and he's been trying for decades now up until this point. Maybe Thrawn's the missing piece that he needed, and maybe Thrawn figures it out. Maybe Grogu's the missing piece that he needed. It feels like the projects have been leading towards this. We talk about all these things being interconnected, but Omega in the Bad Batch and Grogu in the Mandalorian, the two of them Omega's ability to transfer the midichlorians and Grogu's very high midichlorians, I think would make the perfect storm. Maybe a combination of Luke's hand from Bespin as well. A big abomination turns into Snoke, and I don't want that really explained in like a comic. I'd rather that be explained specifically to the fans, to our faces, in a movie or a live action show to, I guess, clear the air. It would be like saying all the Jedi died and then not showing Order 66 and Revenge of the Sith. I feel like we need to see how Snoke came to be.
Yeah. I think it would be probably more important to see how he kind of rises. Like not just the Frankenstein moment, but like how he is a household name in a matter of, a decade or two. But like you're saying, right. And like you were saying about like we have a lot of clues and like implications. Like in a comic, you have Luke's hand, as you were saying, that all of the Sith Eternal are working with. You have the entire kind of background main story of the Bad Batch with Omega. You have presumably the whole reason why we got a entire episode just on Dr. Pershing in Mandalorian season 3 and the whole chase for Grogu. There's all these things that like, and obviously Rise of Skywalker that kind of just told you that he's a meat puppet. But and then we have the visual dictionary of Rise of Skywalker that calls him a strand cast, and then that's it. Like there's nothing, but John Coin.
That's interesting.
Huh. That would be weird. That would be, I guess, as Jon Favreau said, you'll like his name when you hear it. I don't think I'd like that.
That doesn't give me anything.
I feel like they'll just name him like Ford Harrison or something.
No, I mean,
what if he was like a character from the Thrawn books or something?
Yeah,
I think what he's talking about is that the actor that played Snoke?
No, that was Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was.
Yeah.
The actor's name is John Coyne or whatever, like Johnny Coyne. Like that's the actor's name. I don't know if he's just playing tricks on us or what, but I don't know. Well, what's weird about that is other than this image that we just looked at with Grogu in the birdcage, this guy hasn't been in any of the marketing for this movie. So we know about the other warlord. He's in the last trailer. And that's like, he's going to be important. But this guy, like the leaks of these two specific warlords being in the movie are from like a year ago. Like this has been knowledge that we've kind of known about for a while now. But this guy specifically has not been in much of the marketing at all up until today, up until this moment. So maybe he's got a bigger role that we just don't know about yet. This is the first time we're seeing Hutts and Imperials crossing over in any of the trailers too, because it's sort of been separated. The Hutts doing one thing on Nal Hutta or wherever, and then the Imperial warlords on this icy planet. This is in the same gladiator ring where you got a Hutt and an Imperial in the same room. So
he's got a nice jacket.
Oh, somebody mentioned that too. That jacket might be from nice Gorman made, from the spiders on Gorman.
Ouch!
It's Luthen. It's Luthen.
Yeah.
He's back. He didn't die.
Yeah.
Well, it's Cyril Khan.
Oh,
yeah.
Got shot in the head, and they just had to buzz his hair off. That's it.
Yeah, first like real on-seed headshot of a person in Star Wars.
Crazy. My question still is why and how is Grogu in that cage?
It's got to be a setup.
He's in there willingly.
Yeah,
I think.
I think Grogu, or Din probably was like, "Listen, just go. I'm going to do my thing."
Yeah.
Well,
maybe maybe they're like threatening Din's life, and they're like, "Get in the cage," because Din Djarin can't protect himself, and Grogu can only do so much, even though he has the Force. So he's not impenetrable just because he has the Force. Like he can still get hurt. He can still get
Speaking of Gorman, let me pull this back up again. Hopefully it'll pop up here. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. And I know you touched on this briefly, but I just finished this book the other day.
The
Actually, the
first one?
day that you were talking about this, that the new one just came out, and it's with Saw in there and Luthen. That's going to make me want to read this next one. Obviously, I mean, I'm going to read it anyways. But even with Maul in it, because the main one, they do have Saw in it, and then Mon Mothma's in it, along with well, I can't even think of Jimmy Smith's character now.
Bail Organa,
yeah, thank you. Bail Organa's in it. And it's really it's really cool. It's very political. So but it gives you a lot of background and different things that happened beforehand. And you said this is a year before
Andor,
Andor? Okay. Okay, year before Andor. So 6 years before
A New
Hope. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
it's the second in a trilogy though, because this is going to be a full
Correct.
Reign of the Empire trilogy. Now, the people on the cover were Saw, Luthen, Mon Mothma, Anto Krieger up in the top right. He was just briefly in the whole Andor stuff, and then Bail Organa. But next to Bail Organa is a little Leia too, which is cool.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. I mean the book stuff has always done so well. When you look at all the books that we've gotten over the last couple years or even decades, even with all the canon stuff, it's great.
Speaking of Star Wars books, I don't know if my mom and dad are in the chat, but I got them to start Darth Plagueis this week.
Oh, nice.
I think it's their first foray into Star Wars audiobooks, so we'll have
That's
to
a good start.
know what they think. Yeah. It's a dense start, but it's a start.
You know the sound, it's a South Park scene, but you know the sound where it's like you're watching a show and you get the phone call and it's and he goes, "Kyle, they've killed them all," or whatever. Like it's Cartman going, that's what they're gonna call you. You're gonna be like, Nick, they killed them all.
They killed them all.
That's pretty funny. So I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and I know well, first of all, we haven't even said anything about the Acolyte yet, but we're not going there. I'm just mentioning
52 minutes and 10 seconds.
Exactly. But I'll do a little talk about this
Hey, good looking
ginger gentleman right here.
I heard he died on Alderaan.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't. So
rumor has it.
What are your guys' thoughts on him being in this movie or in Ahsoka? Derek, I'm interested. I know you want him there, but what are your thoughts that he's actually going to be in one or the other, and why do you think that?
100% in all three things coming up. I'm wearing that poncho for a year. No, I think he'll be in one thing. I don't know what that is. I mean, I know what it's not. It's not going to be Maul. Because it's not. I'm putting my money on it. It's not. It's not. So I think I'm gonna say it's gonna be Ahsoka if it's anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I agree with that.
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah,
we'll go to Nick.
Yeah,
all right, Nick, go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
I actually completely agree with Derek. I don't think it's in the movie. I don't see timeline wise him being involved with Maul unless there's a Dathomir thing and we jump into, do we know if Shadow Lord lasts a long time, or are we in just one time?
We don't know.
I just don't see Cal being involved unless there's some kind of Dathomir thing. But where there's going to be a lot of Dathomir stuff is Ahsoka. I still am partial to the idea that the bulk of his story will be resolved in the next game. And so I feel like him being a part of something in live action or animation or whatever would also have to be important, because when that's done, Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it happening in a movie yet, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think him being involved in something in live action, if the game takes place after it, it could only help the game. Like it will only just elevate the sales of the game. But if it does take place after the events of the game, the third game, then you can, I guess, sprinkle in some like, well, what happened? For example, if he shows up in Ahsoka season 2 by himself, then you're gonna be like, where's Marin? Where's the girl that was at the end of the second game? And then you'll have to go and play the third game to figure that out.
mhm.
So I guess they could go about it either way. I am in full agreement with the two of them. I think it's Ahsoka season 2 or nothing. Just because I don't see there being enough time at all in the Mandalorian and Grogu for an introduction to Cal Kestis.
Yeah, and they're
And
going to have to give him some time. Like,
yeah,
there's not going to be a 5-minute cameo for Cal
Yeah.
Kestis. I'm sorry, there just won't be.
it's
That's
not
what-
like a Clone Wars character. It's somebody from 2 video games, and that's it. So for most normie fans, as we talk about, they wouldn't even recognize the character from a hole in a wall. So it just wouldn't make sense at all. But when it comes to Ahsoka season 2, as Nick brought up, Dathomir, that's already the connection there. Both games have Dathomir as a playable planet. His girlfriend's a Night Sister. There's so many connections there with just the planet itself. But this week we did get some pretty crazy stuff from Ahsoka season 2 as a crew member posted a video online of like merch and whatever, and there was a replica blaster in his video, and he was asked about it, and in the comments he said that it's a 3D printed replica, one that I used for the Battle of Dathomir, which again confirms this huge battle that we know about. They made me a bazooka trooper for the day, so I retired my old blaster and had it preserved. So it's one of the, I think they called the E11 blasters, but it's a bazooka trooper, like one of those stormtroopers with this huge thing on their shoulder that is in both games, Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. So yet another connection to the Jedi games and to Cal Kestis is this trooper being involved in Ahsoka season 2. So all lines point to Cal being in Ahsoka season 2, if anything, in 2026. And I mean,
I'll double down on my bet, and I will say if he's in both live action things, I'll do the poncho for a year.
All right.
Okay. I feel like I'm now kind of pushing back on myself and us because Derek, you made a great point. I think Cal Kestis, and they know this, deserves more time than he would be able to get in Ahsoka season 2, unless it's an intro. I think he really needs it and deserves it. And it would kind of, in a weird way, be a waste to just pop him in for 5 minutes and then figure out what to do with him. It's not a waste. We'd all love it, obviously, but
yeah,
I think he's got the keys to like some very interesting and consequential stories that, like, Mike, you've said it a bunch. In Ahsoka season 2, we really have 2 stories that need a whole season that are mashed into one season happening. You have the Peridia stuff, you have the Thrawn stuff. And I feel like Cal Kestis deserves more than popping in and wrecking some people for an episode and we don't see him. However, Ahsoka does that in The Mandalorian season 2, and it worked great.
I can see him getting more time in Ahsoka because there's more runtime in Ahsoka than there is going to be in the movie. And in the movie is going to be, there's so much going on already. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he was in the main movie, it's like he's might be in for 10 minutes. That's not going to be enough. And you're going to have like normie fans that don't know who he is. And they're going to be like, well, who is this guy? Why is he so important? And people are freaking out about him. I've never heard of him. Well, it's because you're a nerd.
Well, it could be that point, though, where it's just like Boba Fett or Ahsoka in Mando season 2, where they only are in one episode. They only have that one cool, epic sequence. And then he's gone or he's not in the rest of the show. And it sets up either his third game or sets up maybe even if we're lucky a Cal Kestis show himself. But I agree with you that there's not a lot of time in Ahsoka season 2 to spend establishing a character like that. But it could just be a way to put you onto the third game or put you into where Cal Kestis' story continues. it would just depend on where that third game takes place in the timeline.
Yeah, and it could, if all of our speculation about an Heir to the Empire trilogy or movie later, if he's involved in Ahsoka season 2, he would have to be involved in whatever happens later, whatever they're setting up. But I don't know. I feel like they have something really good with his game series, and I think they're going to want to really make sure they, and wrap it up on a good note for the third game, and that's either going to be pushing him to push the game or wrapping the game up so that they can use him now, or whatever it takes. Because why else hire a great on-screen actor to be a video game character, central video game character who's all about it and trains for it and all that kind of,
In the last celebration, he basically said he's gonna be on something at some point. Like he made those massive speculations.
No. And Derek put up a poll, so if you guys haven't already, do you guys think Cal will be in will be in live action? And after you do that, then So wait, I gotta do this. I don't think I did this last week.
He's so cute.
That's the best part about this movie and what it's going to have going for it is the amount of like when you think about a Star Wars movie, specifically, I guess the prequels, but even the originals and the sequels as well, you're quoting it so often. Now, Grogu doesn't speak, but Grogu is the perfect in the year 2026, perfect thing to create a meme about. Like there's going to be a 1,000,000,001 memes about Grogu on the internet going crazy viral when this movie comes out. And I'm sure there'll be a bunch of quotable moments too. But that's what I guess has kept Star Wars around so long is that people have been quoting Star Wars forever. Like everybody knows every line and all that. And this movie's going to continue that. But Grogu, without saying a word, is going to be all across the internet with stuff like that. Like that's just awesome.
Yeah. G-Reg, I think it's G-Reg. I don't know how you're saying that. Asked, are you guys worried about the game story being retconned if Filoni brings Cal on stage? He has a bad track record of that. No, I'm not worried about it at all.
No, I actually posted a short about this today with Sam Witwer. He's talking about how him and Dave got in an argument about he was going to go voice something for Darth Maul in a book. And he was saying that like the lines were kind of different, or he was saying that it was different from the character that they established in the Clone Wars. And he was like, Dave, what should I do? Should I say something? Should we change all the lines? And he's like, no. He's like, Star Wars is these tall tales told around a campfire. So if somebody's telling a story from their perspective, maybe they remember Ahsoka's lightsaber being blue in that story. Maybe they remember Ahsoka's lightsaber being green in that story. And it's a weird way to look at it because as canon lover myself, I like everything to be in order and in the way it should be. But that is, I mean, George Lucas always joked about Star Wars is being told by R2-D2, and that's why he's saving everybody the entire time. It's a very perspective-based thing, and a little retcon, like, for example, what Dave Filoni has done, which is Yoda's lightsaber being thrown in a comic into a fire on Coruscant, and then Luke Skywalker having that lightsaber and offering it to Grogu. Stuff like that is something that I will take all day long because it doesn't affect the way I look at anything. That comic is not ruined. The show is not ruined. Like nothing is that drastically affected, and you can get away with that. And he's done it before with like Kanan's story and stuff with the Bad Batch and everything. But again, I like the Bad Batch.
Well,
yeah, well, and that's it, I think, because you have so many people that they just want to hate on it and find things that are wrong with it. You know, the whole thing with Ki-Adi-Mundi, okay, his birthday's effed up, whatever. So, but I think that's cool because you have 2 lightsabers for Yoda, and that's the explanation. And that's okay. And same with Palpatine. Palpatine has 2. So again, we don't know that, but when it pops up, people aren't bitching about that, So again, there's different things that can be switched around a little bit. And if you're going to get worried about that one little aspect of this, then honestly, I don't think you're a true fan, because if you're going to take that one little thing and that's going to ruin your Star Wars experience, that's ridiculous. The whole rest of everything that's going on in this, there's no other franchise that you can go into. Even these Marvel comics in the movies, and I don't read the comics, but I know that they don't go exactly like the comics do when we're watching, all these different Marvel movies, whether it's Captain America or Thor
Yeah.
or whatever else is going on. There's different things and different timelines, and they can talk about this universe or that universe and whatever else is going on. But there might be a handful of different things after the books and the extended universe and canon and legends and stuff like that might be wrong, but 99.9% of this stuff is on the same track. And if it's not, they have come up with I think a cool retribution for it to explain that. The whole thing, I think we talked about it last week, was with Rex. Was he in Return of the Jedi? I think that's cool. I'm gonna say it's Rex in Return of the Jedi when they come around on the forest moon and there's everybody standing there and there's Rex right there. If you want to think it's I forget what his name is, but if you want to think it's that guy and you want to stick with that, then cool, you can stick with that. Again, this whole headcanon that I know Nick loves, it's just a good thing for us to be able to celebrate this, talk about it for 2 hours every week and 6 hours each week with Mike. And you have to take some of this stuff not so seriously, because guess what? This is all science fiction. It's all not real. It's just a cool, fun story that we enjoy and love that George has brought to us. So, sorry, I digress.
Well, no, the perfect example of this is Star Wars starts in the middle. So everything that they go back and do is going to change what already happened. And everybody talks about the retcon, but the retcons were that Luke and Leia are twins. The retcon was that Vader is Luke's father. Well, I guess the best example of all of it is that in Revenge of the Sith, Ahsoka's not mentioned. That's weird. Maul being back alive is not mentioned. The whole Siege of Mandalore is not mentioned. That's very strange. Ahsoka's not mentioned in any movie. You could argue that, well, it came out before Ahsoka even existed, but that still doesn't work in the canon storyline here. It doesn't make sense. But it works because we can imagine that it works. It works because that's how it works. Like, there's just things that have to happen because they came out first, and that's just how things work. Grogu was around during the original trilogy. He's not mentioned. He's not seen. So is Ahsoka. So is the Ghost Crew. All these people, like, you see Easter eggs, I suppose. You find out at the final scene of Rebels that Rex and Hera and the Ghost were at the Battle of Endor, but you don't see them. Maybe you do if you think that character is Rex, but they're there, and you know that they're there. And for Andor fans, Vel and Clea, they survived the events of the show. They're involved with the rebellion. Do you see them moving forward? No, but they're there. So there has to be some sort of line where you have to go into your headcanon or your imagination and just, I guess, bend the lines a little bit.
I totally agree with you guys, by the way. I do see part of where G-Reg is coming from, as far as like prior to whatever year it was, 2013, where we went, all right, there's going to be legends, literally everything, and canon. Anything that's on screen is canon, and everything that comes out from here on out is canon. And as an avid reader up until that point, I have to admit, like, there's a lot of conflict because I always bring it up. We talked to James Lucino. They don't know, like, that another person over here back in the day was writing about the same thing. Yeah. They're just emailing with George and some other people about whether I can put this in the book or not. And so for like us sweaties, when you see Chewbacca die 3 different times, it's like, so which one? Yeah. Like, do I just get to pick one? Yeah. And to, it kind of pissed a lot of people off to make the expanded universe now like not real, right? Or like legends, and we can pull from it and bring it back, which from a production standpoint is the only way you can do it. If you want to make some films where Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Leia are now in their 60s, like you're gonna have to like you can't go and make the Luke New Jedi Order stuff when Luke's 30, like so they had to figure out a way to make it all work and to plug it in. But what's frustrating sometimes, I think, for some of us sweaties is like, okay, we did this big deal overhaul of canon and now we're finally on board, and now we're going to be like, yeah, but some of it doesn't. So then sometimes we go back, sometimes we don't. And so that's why I do love the headcanon stuff, because usually when they go back on something, it's not very consequential. It doesn't matter. And they make it a part of the story, like Mundi. Like, who cares how old he is? The best.
And that wasn't even canon.
Yeah, it wasn't even canon anyway, right? It was from a baseball card, and but even I would say like even the Maul stuff is like Maul being resurrected would not be an example of retconning, because it's just, you see him get chopped in half, you presume he's dead. And in the story, everybody in the entire universe is presuming he's dead, like the audience, and they figured out a way to make it happen. Right?
Yeah.
Retconning would be like the fact that the Ahsoka's adventure in Tales of the Jedi is in a novel that already happened, and it happens very differently. So now you have to use the canon rubric and say like, okay, it happened on screen. That's the story. But I like this book, so I'm going to like the book story. So I understand where he's getting from, because we went through this whole overhaul thing to figure out how it all works, to now just be like, yeah, sometimes we'll do it, sometimes we won't. And I think it's important to remember that like we don't get this Thrawn set up like we have it now without the canon hard line. I don't remember what year it was, but without the Legends and canon separation. Stuff like that is a big deal. So,
well, to that point too, and with specifically Cal Kestis, you can make him as powerful as you want in that game, and he can't come onto screen being that powerful.
Yeah.
So somehow, some way, they're going to alter the character to make him realistic, I guess, to make him make sense inside the canon of Star Wars. I do like, however, that Ahsoka Season 1 kind of set up one of his abilities, which is that Force Echo, because Ahsoka kind of uses it in the first season. So
and so is Jason.
And so is Jason. Yeah. So they're establishing that in that presence of that ability. But it will be interesting to see how powerful they make him, because a video game character is not real. Like, he can't be that powerful when it comes to.
Why isn't he real?
Well, he's real. But
what does that mean?
His power's
real.
not real.
It's real to me.
You're not real, Mike. I was kidding.
I think Jan has a good point, but Mike, like you were saying, where we don't see some of these characters, in A New Hope or whatever. Which I really like your theory that she stays on Peridia at the end of this season. So that's why she's not here. And I think at some point we will get an answer to that. And that's what I love about Dave being the creator of all this, and at least looking to make sure that this stuff is sort of staying on track. And because this universe is so huge, like Jan says, you're not going to run into everybody all the time. So you're going to have these little things over here. You're going to have the Mandoverse. You're going to have different things that are going on, where you're not always going to run into the same character all the time. So I think that was a good point to make, just playing off of what you were saying, Mike, that we don't have these characters. They weren't here. They weren't there. There's an explanation at some point for them. Maybe we'll get mine and Derek's new favorite books, from a certain point of view. Maybe we'll get some more of that stuff where we get to find out what was going on with some of these characters. But the main characters like Ahsoka, I think that we will eventually find out why she wasn't around, or what was going on with Grogu. Were they doing something else? They didn't. As we see in Andor, there's so many different cells of the rebellion, and then finally a lot of them start to come together. So there's still probably hundreds or thousands of other different cells that maybe haven't joined the rebellion yet, but there's little stories over here of different characters doing different things, and they're not always going to run into Luke as they pass by, or they fly into to Yavin, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
plus Filoni's the boss now. He can do whatever he wants.
Also true.
Yeah.
But we've gone through 6 years now of Mandoverse storytelling, and we've seen Luke twice. We haven't seen Leia or Han at all. So you can get around telling those stories without those characters. The Mandalorians are not in the sequels at all. And as you pointed out, there's different Rebel cells. There's 4 seasons of Rebels where they don't cross paths at all with Cassian Andor. And then you have 2 seasons of Andor where they don't cross paths at all with Phoenix Squadron, which is the Rebel squad. So it is a huge galaxy. I guess that's the point that Jen made. It is a big galaxy, so you can do that. I guess that's the argument, because I always say Mace Windu, second Mace Windu mention of the day. Mace Windu could have survived that fall on Coruscant. My problem is, how do you explain where he's been this entire time? And the argument is, it's a huge galaxy.
Yeah.
So,
He's in a bacta tank.
Jedi Survivor made that a very likely possibility. Like the whole Dagan character, or Dagan, what's his name? From the High Republic Jedi. Like, he's hundreds of years old, and he was just hanging out in a bacta tank. That could be another character in Star Wars.
Well, and if you want to really throw it back, like in the I'm rereading the Darth Bane books, and I know those are legend, but in there he's talking about Revan, and Revan was captured, and he was like, how many hundreds of years was he like in hibernation?
Right.
Yeah, I think when he died, he was like 380 or something.
Right.
Crazy like that. Yeah.
Well, and that's a great example, Derek, too. Like, some of that, and as Max Reba said, it was around 2014. Some of that, like, canon legends, head canon shift, like, also there was an understanding and sort of like an education of people saying, like, hey, stuff like Darth Bane trilogy or even Plagueis, like, you might as well think of those as canon, right? Like, unless we make a Darth Bane trilogy and something on screen differs slightly from the book, then that'll be canon. But like, there are several like legend stories that are basically canon. It basically frees Dave Filoni, for example, up to pull whatever he wants, however he wants, instead of being locked into, clashing with these books and stuff. So, like, I don't know. I feel like Revan being in hibernation could be considered canon, and might open the door to Mace Windu. My thing with Mace Windu is, I think stuff needs to cost something in our universe. I think we're losing that. Especially, I was thinking while you guys were talking, like, did we lose any protagonists in Mandalorian season 3 other than the big guy?
Yes. Oh, no.
Yeah. So, like, I feel like we're due for something in the movie.
Cara Dune.
I forget. Did Axe Wolf, was his name Axe Wolf? Did he die, or did he make it out?
He's standing with them at the end.
Oh, okay. Because I knew he was like crashing the ship. He's the one who makes the big explosion, but I just don't know if he flew out of the ship before it crashed. But yeah, no, you're right. We haven't really had a big death, and that's why Din Djarin's going to die in the movie. But
that's what I was trying to fish out here.
Yeah. No, we haven't had a big death recently in Star Wars, to my recollection. Andor season 2.
Andor has a lot.
Yeah, Luthen,
his buddy in the beginning, I forget his name.
Oh, Brazo, yeah.
Brazo.
Yeah. True. But while we got those deaths, we also brought Asajj Ventress back to life last year.
True.
Yeah. So,
but even Rise of Skywalker, yes, we lose Leia. We're kind of thinking that was going to happen anyway. But like, the main New Age protagonist cast unscathed, except for Ben Solo, which was a part of the whole.
True, but that's kind of how all the trilogies work. The original trilogy unscathed, the prequels unscathed. Padme.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, no, you're not wrong. Well, Ben Solo, the hunt for Ben Solo, like people want to bring him back to life already.
Yeah.
So,
But
that's true.
I'm,
Well, I do have something.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I do have something. Switching gears back to the Mandalorian specifically, and I guess Boba Fett a little bit here too. What it was confirmed because the Writers Guild of America, they have to like put out the writers for the movie. It's confirmed that there are three
that's
main writers for the movie. Jon Favreau, of course, director writer. Dave Filoni, no shock there. But the third name is kind of shocking, I suppose, is Noah Clore. Kloor. Does that ring any bells to anybody? Because it didn't to me. Yeah, it didn't ring any bells to me either. He co-wrote every single episode of the Book of Boba Fett. So for people holding out hope that Boba Fett's going to be in there, that's pretty. I think he co-wrote one episode of Mando season 3, just one. I forget what episode it was, but the entire season of Book of Boba Fett he co-wrote with Jon Favreau. So he's also a writer with Dave and John. I mean, if you're the third name on that list, it's a pretty good list to be on for this Mandalorian Grogu movie. Maybe some Boba Fett ties there. I mean, it doesn't mean just because he wrote on Boba Fett that Boba Fett's in this, but it's pretty good. Pretty good.
No, I think you're right. I think that's again, as we talk about like some of the toys and different things that come out, when you have some of these little things that happen and you have this new writer now, because why are they waiting until now to say that he's a writer on this? Okay, everything's done, all that. So now they're going to drop this other guy's name. They've known for years, or at least a year, that he's there. So I think that's really cool, and I think that does, like you said, that sort of jumps up that percentage that Boba Fett is going to be in there. Because why would they bring this guy in to that, besides to, hey, listen, we want some of your knowledge and about Boba Fett, and what do you think we should do to bring him back? Because as we all liked, and probably everybody on this chat, Boba Fett was a great series, and it was fantastic. I think the Vespa gang, it is what it is. It's already there.
Awesome.
And
they're so cool.
Yeah. And that's my thing with Star Wars. You know what? I would have loved to seen Bosk and Dangar and IG-11, and that would have been freaking insane. But we got these 4 kids on this, this whole thing that happened. But again, there's part of the Star Wars universe. It's something new coming in here, because like Jan said earlier, it's a huge universe. You're not always going to have Dangar and Bosk and IG all hanging out together and doing this type of thing. And now you have, some new characters that we have that Boba Fett needed to help him out. So those are the cool things. But to get back to what you were saying with the writer, is I don't think that they're going to drop that name. Just, oh, okay, hey, by the way, we're this is who else has written with us. Oh, wait a minute. This guy wrote most of the whole live action Book of Boba Fett. So there's definitely some percentages that are going up in that.
I could also see too how when they're like making a series, for example, they have to make, they know they're bringing Boba Fett back in The Mandalorian. They know they're doing Book of Boba Fett because it was a post-credit scene in The Mandalorian. But they have to figure out how. So whoever writes that story has to build the world, and therefore they built like the current state of all the crime families and the huts and all that kind of stuff. So it would be really valuable to have that writer in there, whether Boba Fett's in it or not, to be able to be like, so of everything that we edited down to make Boba Fett, here's all the stuff that like, where we were coming from, as what the scoreboard looks like, who's involved. Here are the characters that we had set up. Because, we might not think crazy highly of the Vespa gang, but Chrysanthemum was freaking cool. Yeah. Cad Bane was freaking cool. I don't care what people think about his looks. We got a lot out of that. And to have it be like, Mandalorian season 2.5 was also cool.
Or more simple answer as to why this guy's on this show, or writing for this movie, because they like working with him. He's probably a good hang. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing is like, especially being in the music industry, 90% of it is that people want to be around you. So whether or not it's like, I don't think it's tying any of the like the Boba Fett stuff in, and that's why they have him, because they've got Filoni. Filoni's gonna know what to do anyway. I think it's that they liked working with him, and they were like, oh, we like his style for whatever reason. Let's bring him on for this.
Right.
Yeah, it
but
is a bit.
why drop his name now? That's my thing. Why not?
Probably have to.
Yeah, they
You
had
have
to.
to. Yeah, they had to.
But no, I think there's a lot of connective pieces from this movie to the book of Boba Fett. The Twin Hutts, Din Djarin's in half the season, so there's already that connection there. It's just more a question of Boba Fett himself specifically. Would he be in there? It remains to be seen. But the Vespa Gang thing, I love making fun of the Vespa Gang, not because like it's whatever. It's the Jar Jar Binks of it all. Like Jar Jar's the comedic relief. I guess these guys weren't supposed to be comedic relief, but they're bright colors on a desert wasteland. And they're the Ewoks. They're the Babu Fricks. Like Star Wars always has these characters appear, and the Vespa Gang was just this version of it. But they're necessary to the story. They're the ones who saved Fennec Shan's life. She got shot by a blaster in the gut. Like, they had to save her.
Now, would we have hated them as much? Yeah, would we have hated them as much if they would have moved faster on the screen and it would have been this slow motion race? Like honestly, like I saw the Vespas and I was like, that's really weird, but I think they're cool. Like you know, it was just fun. And
well,
it was
the
just
thing is
the scene was so slow.
The scene was really slow, and the little spin that the guy does.
Yeah, I mean, again, there were things, but like, let's just take out a lot of the Vespa scene. I think the characters were pretty cool.
Yes, I like the actors. I like the characters' looks and designs and all that. Yep. My one hope is that when this Galactic Racer game comes out, I can make a speeder bike look like a Vespa.
It'd be awesome. That'd be so great.
That would be so great. But maybe that'll be like a DLC or something.
And then you can have them say, "This is pod racing."
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it was cool that they're all like modified people. Yeah,
yes.
Or do they all have the tweaks, like the
some
droid?
sort of mod? Yeah,
different. They're all different. Yeah.
And they go and see freaking Thundercat for him.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys. So I thought that was awesome, but I thought like when I first saw the Vespas, I was like, oh, okay, we're doing like motorcycle American graffiti, like a little homage. Yeah. And then they were slow, and you know.
Well, but
you are right. It's with Thundercat, though. That was awesome. I was like,
oh
my god! And people were like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a musician. He's amazing.
It was slow, and honestly, in a very George Lucasian way, they could go back and make it quicker. If they wanted to. But yeah, no, I don't. I've rewatched that scene somewhat recently, and as all things do in your mind, like it slowed down even more in my mind. So it is faster than I remember it being, but
it's not fast.
I do like the scene in that scene where the girl catches up to the speeder that what's his face is on and just starts kicking it, and like you said, her foot is modded out, so like a thing comes out, like a spike comes out of her foot, and she like breaks it, and that's how he crashes. So like they are cool in concept. Just everybody remembers the chase scene and how slow it was.
Right.
Yeah. I also feel like we might have liked him more if we got more time.
Yeah.
Because I think Book of Boba Fett had a few things to like accomplish, and working out the demographics of Tatooine was not one of them. You know, and maybe to add to the writer thing. Maybe he's a good hang. That's probably 90% of the reason. I think Derek's right. Yeah. But also, we've been on here several times defending the writing of Book of Boba Fett, like making Boba Fett into a human in a very realistic thing, and like doing it with Tusken Raiders and doing it with, you know, a complicated organized crime thing that also bleeds the Mandalorian. Like that takes, you know, I feel like we're all in agreement that we really enjoyed that part of it. And that took some guts as a writer. And so maybe good hang and a well-deserved, you know, spot. I also wonder if there were plans for, you know, evolving the story from Book of Boba Fett in the Mandoverse. And they
Here we
kind
go.
of like, there we go. And they kind of like switched up and said, you know what, we're going to take part of that into Mando and Grogu and, kind of spread it out. I always wonder what they end up doing with that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like there's
Ron's
more
playing the
story.
scene now.
There's more story for Boba Fett and those characters, absolutely. But that's why I think there's going to be a Book of Boba Fett season 2 eventually.
Wait, can I ask you guys a question?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is this the first time I'm noticing? Is he in Veep? This guy, the guy who's the Twi'lek. Have you ever seen the show Veep?
No.
I've seen like episodes of it. The one with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, I just put together that the magistrate guy is. I think he's in
The
Veep.
Major Domo.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
It just reminds
I
me of
think
the
he's
line,
her
"I am the
husband.
King's Major Domo." Huh.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I know Derek had sent me this article, and I know
Yeah.
Mike, you had talked about some Kathleen Kennedy stuff the other day. Was what you talked about? Was that the article from Vanity Fair or from
Yeah.
Vanity?
Variety.
Yeah. So
Variety, yeah.
Variety. Sorry. So yeah, we got an article from Kathleen Kennedy. And the main gist of the
Takeaway.
story is she says that we're not gonna hear any verbiage from Grogu, and whether she's lying or not, we don't know. But I thought that was pretty interesting. Mike had talked about that. I think it was yesterday on his podcast. So, what do you guys think of that? Or Mike, if you want to maybe add a little bit to that, and then I'd be interested to see what Nick and Derek think about that.
So here's my thing with all this. We just talked about how Katie Sackhoff said, I can neither confirm nor deny if I'm in the movie. And we're all like, okay, she's in the movie. If Kathleen Kennedy said, I can neither confirm nor deny if Grogu says his first words in this movie, then we'd all be like, okay, he says his first words. The fact that she says he doesn't, in the weird way that she phrased it, was like, because she was talking about E.T. and how he doesn't speak much. And then she was like, Grogu, he doesn't speak at all. And that's what makes his character so great because you fall in love with the character, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And when he comes to the big screen, he's not going to say some words. She said it in a different way, but
she said
that was
on
sort
the
of the
big
gist.
screen, he never says a word. She confirmed that. That is weird phrasing.
It is weird phrasing. And even when you have it like with the whole article and she's already talking about Grogu and how he doesn't say anything in the show either, if she, first of all, said, oh, and on the big screen, he's going to say his first words, that ruins it. If she says, maybe he says his first word, like, then you're thinking, yeah, he's going to say it. Her denying it would be the best possible situation because she's either lying and the surprise is still intact, or she's telling the truth and he doesn't say a word and nothing really changes. So I think that's, I guess, the best situation here because as we just went over with Katie Sackhoff, there's easier ways to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think also the big thing, I thought you were going to talk about something a little bit different from that article, Ron, and that was that they asked her about handing over the reins to Filoni and to Lin-Manuel Brennan. And this is the exact quote. It didn't just happen 6 months ago. I spent 10 years talking Dave into gradually stepping into live action. He had so much experience in animation. He's so knowledgeable about Star Wars and loves it so much. It's really been a 10-year mentoring process for both of them. Lin-Wen came out of Industrial Light and Magic. She was my GM the entire time. I would argue that the transition has been really pretty seamless.
Yeah. I mean, these two have been have they been groomed for this? They've been around for a while. But you look at Dave Filoni, call him the apprentice of George Lucas all the time. 10 years under Kathleen Kennedy and learning the live action side of things and how to make a movie with Jon Favreau. So he's really had all the training he could possibly imagine from producer, from the creator, and from a director. That's all you need. And then the Lin-Wen stuff, like still don't know much about this lady, but as Kathleen just said, she's been the GM since she got there. So she's been trained for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why all of a sudden is she just going to put that out there? I think that's interesting in reference to the whole Grogu thing. Why even mention that?
Well, I think it has to do with her winning the award and like getting her I think it was it was like those final words that she could really say before she's out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she was also talking about in the first interview question, I suppose, or one of the interview questions was about E.T. and how so many times in movies they've had these characters that don't speak or speak very little words, and you're able to have an emotional and a big connection with the character, like E.T. and Grogu, where they don't speak at all or they have very limited words. So it just transitioned into that. And then she said, on the big screen, he's not going to say any words either, but you're still going to love him and he's still cute and whatever.
So why on the big screen? So he's going to say it. We know he's going to say something at some point in a show, which means he's not going to die in the movie because she leaked it. I'm telling you.
Well, it's just a matter of, we assume he's going to say his first words. In season 3 of Mando, he almost says, "This is the way." People have been talking about that. But I don't know. I feel like she's either lying to subvert our expectations, to make us look one way, or I don't know.
I don't think she's lying about it. But like, I think there's more to it. She said it for a reason. It was very pointed. It was on, it was on topic, but it was very pointed too. So if there's one thing, like, we can say a lot of things about Kathleen Kennedy. We've said a lot of things, but also we've kind of said a lot of her praises. If there's one thing you can say, is she's not dumb.
No,
she is not a dumb person. So like, and people might argue, but she is not. You don't get to where you are and have the credits and, E.T. and Jurassic Park and things like that by being a dumb person. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So a lot of what she does is very calculated.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think there's a reason for it.
Yeah, because I mean, to your point, she didn't have to mention the big screen at all. She could have just been like, Grogu hasn't said a word in 3 seasons, and you guys love him too. But she did mention the big screen.
Yeah, which is like, okay, well, what's the next show that he's going to be in?
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be in Ahsoka?
Ahsoka. That'd be nice. To the point of, I guess we looked at the other writer too, this new writer. The Writers Guild of America did have to also give us the producers on the movie, and a surprising name did pop up for The Mandalorian and Grogu. And that was Bryce Dallas Howard, is a producer on The Mandalorian and Grogu. She's done plenty of episodes of The Mandalorian, so that's no real big surprise, but I didn't know she was even a producer on this. She did episodes of Skeleton Crew, and she's directing 2 episodes of Ahsoka. So again, the producer role is like, how much is she really involved? Like, what's her real position there? But she is put on the credits as a producer of this movie.
And the voice of Yaddle.
Mm-hmm.
Also true. Yeah, somehow Yaddle returns.
Yeah.
I mean, do we have full confirmation that Yaddle is dead? Is anyone ever really dead?
She gets squished by a door, and then she's like, "Nah, I'm back." So she does return once, and then she kind of gets sliced down by Dooku, but she could have survived that.
That's what I'm saying. If Maul got sliced in half,
no body, no death.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's sort of, I think it's interesting, even like what Nick said earlier about Mace Windu. And I agree with you, Nick, but I think Mace would be pretty cool if they brought him back. I think, we don't need to bring everybody back, and, everybody doesn't survive, which obviously we know for the most part with, especially with Han and, things like that. But I think that would be a cool one, because that one, how many times did we see, Anakin jump out of the speeder in the middle of freaking Coruscant, and jump on another speeder or whatever he was doing, and all these guys jumping and running, and where Mace, you could definitely, bring him back. And I think that Samuel L. Jackson would do it, but I also think that people would freak out if you had. So I don't think they would do a movie as much as the 4 of us and everybody in this chat would love a movie with him in it, a Star Wars movie that's based on Mace Windu. But I think a live action would be pretty cool, and I think it would kill on Disney Plus. I think a lot of people would watch that to see what happened to him. But because he's such a popular actor, and the way that he came into Star Wars after it was already established, and then all of a sudden you have this, especially at that time in the 90s and the early 2000s, he was a huge actor. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that would be a really cool something to bring it back. But that was just my 2 cents I wanted to put in when Nick was talking about it earlier.
And what if he just comes back as a Force ghost, but instead of like the blue shroud, it's purple?
Yeah, great.
There you go.
I would love
Be
more.
awesome.
I would love more Mace Windu stuff that isn't like Jedi are bad propaganda. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he's just a total asshole in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And he
Or
flips between
awesome.
yeah, he's awesome, but like he's always this linchpin for you feeling resentful for Anakin in the Clone Wars, in my opinion. Other than like the Zillo Beast arc, like where he's like great. He's always kind of like, and then in Tales, he like does Dooku dirty. I want some Windu stuff that is like kind of like his novels or how we felt about him in the prequels up until maybe Revenge of the Sith. But
Yeah.
the only reason, Ron, that I had said that earlier is because if it had happened any other way, hell yeah, bring him back. But like it's the most consequential moment, maybe in like one of the couple most consequential moments in the saga.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
No,
got to
I
be a
agree.
kill, you know?
Well, maybe he falls in the underworld and hold on. Falls down in the underworld and he gets captured and he is discovered in the new Maul show.
Mm,
And then he dies again.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or does he?
Only to rise again.
Or better yet, they don't find his body, but Maul finds his lightsaber.
Yeah.
And then you're like, where's his body?
Mm.
Then you see somebody like sweeping up some blood in the background.
I think we've pretty much landed on that Mace Windu is Snoke. So
He's actually
Yeah.
Palpatine.
yeah,
And he did change his name to Mace Skywalker.
there we go.
Well,
Speaking
I thought
of, go ahead.
no, I thought this was gonna be the warlord from the Mandalorian. I thought we thought that's what we
Didn't say that. See, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you. He's back.
Yeah, you're gonna like his name. It's
It's me.
Jamuel H. Saxon.
Well, bringing Mace back in Maul, but that's a good segue to this because we are coming up on this pretty rapidly.
Yeah, we
And
are.
I know all of us are extremely psyched about this.
Not me. I don't
Do you
even
guys
like
have any
Maul.
new thoughts in reference to what we're going to get from this or who we might see in these? I don't think that we're going to see Mace, but some other people
Yes,
that we
are.
might see cameos in here. And then also, what are we thinking about this this apprentice and this Talon? Do we think that is what is going to happen? Or do you think this apprentice is just a character that's going to end up dying in this?
I could honestly see it being like he trains Talon in the ways of the dark side. And his purpose is to take revenge on Palpatine. Like that's his whole goal, seemingly, is to take down the Empire, take down Palpatine. And maybe she doesn't want to do that. Like I don't see them establishing this girl, former Jedi turned trained by Maul, Darth Talon, probably. I don't see them establishing this character and then just killing her off right away, or even keeping her around for a couple seasons and then killing her off. I think she's going to have to leave Maul, like maybe in a fight, which would be great, but maybe not. There has to be a reason for her to leave Maul and then leave that open end off in the galaxy with the Darth Talon possibility of returning later. But yeah, I think this is going to 100% be our canon Talon, because why else would they make her a Twi'lek? Why else would they make her have those, like, be Maul's apprentice? There's no reason for that.
Yeah. Derek?
I think, are we going to get Kira in there?
I think it would be later on. Somebody did point out to me that this is confirmed to be a first season of a show. I believe on Disney Plus. If you go to where, if I can pull it up really quickly, if you go to where the Maul Shadow Lord, where the trailer is. Let's see. Trailer extras. Yeah, it says trailer for Maul Shadow Lord. Or sorry, trailer - Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord Season 1. So it is confirmed to be a first season of a multi-season show. So Kira and all that stuff, it's still 9, maybe 10 years away. So it wouldn't be till later.
I think we'll get Dryden Voss though.
Yes, because
Yeah.
Dryden's in season 7 of the Clone Wars. So
Yeah. Well, thanks for answering that question for me, because that's what I was like, are we gonna get her? Like, I was kind of like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna get her in a first season, but I mean, we kind of have to see her at some point, right?
well, to my knowledge, she's still alive even towards the Mandoverse time. Like she's still alive in the original trilogy. So yeah, she's definitely gonna be showing up in this show to fill in. If we're going all the way to Rebels with this show, then she's gonna be a big part in that, at least in the back half of the series.
She needs her own show. That's what she needs.
Well, she returns. She returns as the leader of the Crimson Dawn after Maul's death. So we need more of that. So if you're going to make a Book of Boba Fett season 2, she can be your villain.
Very true. So speaking of all of that, I think this is a cool little question as well. And y'all know my answers. I mean, I'm hyped. I'm psyched for all 3 of these things that are coming out this year. I'm a 10 out of 10. Just the little that we know on all of these things, just give me more Star Wars. And I know we're all like that, but I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about that as well. If you're the Maul show, and I know Mike, that's a big favorite character, and same with Ahsoka, and we're both on that same page. The 2 of those are some of my most favorite characters as well. But I'm 10 out of 10 for Maul. I can't wait because it's right around the corner. Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be incredible, and so is Ahsoka.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I mean, Maul's one of my favorite characters. I mean, I have Darth Maul Donald Duck tattooed on my arm. But I think I'm more hyped about Mando and Grogu, and I love all of the things, but there's just something about this movie that just feels so different to me, and I'm so excited for it. Like the last time I felt like this was when Rogue One came out.
I like the sounds of that. If this is anywhere close to Rogue One, we're in a great spot.
Oh my! It's my favorite Star Wars movie.
There you go. It's crazy because just like Derek just said, Maul's my 3rd favorite character behind Anakin and Ahsoka, and I'm still more excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Maybe it's because it's a movie and we haven't experienced a movie in a long time. I've had plenty of shows; they're all great, but I mean, I've had plenty of them. But I honestly think that Maul's going to surprise me more, unless there's a big twisteroo going on in the Mandalorian and Grogu. I think Maul will surprise me more because all we have is that trailer, and that's it. Like we don't have much in terms of this show at all. And with the Mandalorian, you're going to get a lot more trailers. We've already had 2. We've really had like 5, but they were leaked trailers. But we've had a ton of marketing for the Mandalorian and Grogu. With Maul, we don't, and it's 10 episodes, a lot of mystery around it, but we know where Maul's story ends. I guess I think it's more likely to shock me than the Mandalorian and Grogu will, but I'm more excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah,
Nick,
I'm exactly on the same page. I'm like I said earlier, the Mandalorian and Grogu kind of comes with a formative experience, that we get every decade or so, which is unfair to Maul in this matchup because I freaking love Maul. But I agree with Mike. I feel like Shadow Lord is going to be the thing I probably think about more, like while we're watching it. I think there will be things about it. I'll give my takes on, cameos and stuff later, but like, I think I'll be more, I guess, reeling about what happens in Maul than I will be Mandalorian and Grogu, because also it stands to reason that any questions we have about Mandalorian and Grogu as far as like the big picture, we get a couple of months and then we're in Ahsoka season 2. So, which should kind of put us right back in the timeline. Whereas I feel like we could get this Maul thing and then literally have no idea what comes next for whatever that opens up. But so anyway, I'm more excited for the movie just because it comes with the experience.
Well, to your point too, like I think back to as Derek said, he was more excited, like this excitement that he had for Rogue One. It's the first Star Wars movie in 6 years. So it's just like having the first Star Wars movie in 10 years with The Force Awakens. And if you asked me back then what I'm more excited for, The Force Awakens or Rebels, I'd say The Force Awakens. And yet Rebels is like my favorite Star Wars project ever. So maybe Maul becomes that, but it might take a couple seasons and like a lot of character development for all those people. So as of right now, more excited for Maul Shadow Lord. Ask me again in 5 years and we'll see how we're doing.
Well, and that's what's so cool about Star Wars, because it continues to change, and we have no idea what's going on in these three projects that are coming out. And that's the fun, exciting part about it. And we can sit here, and we have for months and probably almost a year about all of these movies, and we will, after these come out, we'll start speculating even more about Starfighter as we get closer and closer to that. And those are the cool things. And again, for me, that's why 2026 is going to be one of the best years for Star Wars to drop all three of these things. And I also think that we're going to get some more throughout the year. We're getting the new book, which will be cool. Because again, that's going to lead up into an Andor type of thing. So we'll learn a little bit more about I'm excited about seeing Luthen on that cover, because he's not in the first book. Saw is, like I said, Mon Mothma and Bail Organa. So all of these things that are coming out, we just don't know yet, and that's what gets me excited, because I want to learn more about these characters and I want to learn more about the story. And if something doesn't line up, that's okay. We see an episode of Maul where it's like, that was, but it's still okay. Mandalorian and Grogu, I think that is just going to be a smash all the way around, and same with Ahsoka. But I think with Ahsoka, it's going to be more for the hardcore fans. I think as much as people like Ahsoka and she's a new character, and we've already seen, her in Clone Wars, and we've seen her in her first season. But now that we get into this, and like we've talked about, if they're going with the Mortis gods thing, which, I mean, they almost have to by the end of season 1, that's, what we're looking at, I think. And for him just standing on that statue and on the arm extended out, it's just, we're getting something with the Mortis gods. And that's where fans like us are going to be so excited and know a little bit more about it, because they're going to have to explain a little bit to the normie fans in reference to that. But all three of these projects, I think, are just going to be phenomenal, and I think we're going to get some more stuff out of it as well. But I do understand the point of it being in the theater as well, which is how Star Wars was supposed to be seen. But I think that will be amazing as well. So especially up in Boston, in a theater with a whole bunch of cool Star Wars fans.
Oh yeah.
So anybody got anything else you want to bring up or talk about before we wrap up here?
I did have one last thing really quick about the Mandalorian Grogu. There was 2 leaked titles for Lego sets coming this summer for the Mandalorian and Grogu. One called Hut and Droid Base, which looks to be from that trailer, the Nal Hutta base on that sort of foresty looking planet. That does include a Rod of the Hutt's minifig, which is cool. And then the other one is, there's no images of either of these, but the other one is called Imperial Remnant Attack. So that could be the AT-AT scene where Din and Grogu are attacking the Imperial Remnant, or it could be the Imperial Remnant attacking them, and it might be the Adelphi base. It might be Navarro and our Grief Karga death, possibly. But I don't know. What do you guys think of that?
I think that's cool. I think those are the fun things that we get to see, a little bit of a, maybe not an Easter egg, but just something that's going to come out that we have, are these both Lego sets?
Yeah, Lego sets.
Yeah. And those are the cool things about it, because we will have a little bit more. It's not giving too much away. You got a Rod of the Hutt, which will be interesting to see as a Lego.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be cool.
Yeah. Before we go, Zima had a question. I never want people to have a question. So Darth Talon was the apprentice in Darth Krayt, and we're going to see Darth Krayt in Obi-Wan season. We don't know if we're going to get Obi-Wan season 2. No. So is this both canon or pulled? I mean, it's all legends at this point, and I don't foresee that happening.
Yeah, no. So all that is legends for now. However, it could be incorporated into canon very, very easily. Because if you get a Kenobi season 2, you need a bad guy, and what better than a Tusken Raider, former Jedi who survived Order 66, and to fight Obi-Wan, because that's already a story in Legends in the comics. And then the Darth Talon of it all would be great too.
I don't see it happening, but it could. I hope it does. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Ewan McGregor is pushing for Kenobi season 2 more than anybody. Yeah. So if he gets what he wants,
So let's just bring it into existence. Thank you, Zima.
There we go.
Great question, and I hope it happens. I don't foresee it happening, but I hope it does. I've only been wrong at least 5,000 times.
I'll add to that pile by saying I feel that I personally have gotten too ahead of myself on like who this Talon person is going to be, because we also see him presumably kill Marok, and we know Marok comes back through death of magic. So I can see Marok kind of being his boy too. So I don't know.
Yeah. But Zima's got that head cannon going on.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yes, she does.
Hang on.
And I'd love a Kenobi season 2.
Same.
We all would. Would.
And good news for Star Wars right now, at least as I'm seeing on the X, formerly known as Twitter, Grogu is currently trending. The word Grogu, so that's nice.
Nice,
okay. As it should be,
as it should always be.
Yeah. Right.
This is the way.
Thank you, everybody, for. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, you just said this is the way.
Oh, everybody for joining us. I really appreciate it. All 4 of us do. Your guys' comments in here again. We love getting to them. Derek, thanks for bringing that up for Zima, and again, we don't want to leave anybody hanging. So appreciate the comments for you guys. It's just again, it's just such a great time to be a Star Wars fan. And before we leave you, if you did join us, I wanted to let you guys know that this will be my last podcast from this house. I am moving, so we will be back here next Wednesday. I don't know what this is going to look like, but it's still going to be freaking cool. And since we're closer and closer to the Mandalorian and Grogu, we're going to watch the trailer one more time. But I do have to. I do have to salute everyone for being here. We appreciate you guys. Again, for Mike, tomorrow, 2:00, Saturday and Tuesdays, join him over on A Guy Who Loves Star Wars. I'm sure he will talk about a couple of things that we talked about tonight, especially that new picture, which is freaking cool. Yeah. And again, just can't wait to understand and see why Grogu's in a cage, what's going on with these characters. I mean, this all looks amazing. So appreciate you guys joining us. Go ahead.
The big thing tomorrow is the Empire magazine is fully out. So last week we got the sneak peek at it, and this is the full thing. So interviews from Pedro Pascal, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Sigourney Weaver, Jeremy Allen White, all tomorrow. So that'll be a big thing.
So 2 p.m. Eastern time. Guy Who Loves Star Wars over on YouTube. X? What else?
All of it. All of it.
Awesome. So we will be back next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Thanks everybody for being here. Let me check the rest of these before we go. And awesome. We're gonna leave on this note. May the Force be with you. We'll see you on the next Star Wars Jedi Chat.
Good shot, baby.
Hey, never touch the buttons. I can use some information.
Whoa, for this price, I'll tell you whatever you want.
I'm looking for a hut.
Close for the night. Thank you.
Gangsters. War criminals.
Long live the Empire.
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
This isn't about revenge. It's about preventing another war.
Strap in.
You will suffer. And then it will be his turn.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor. The kid will live centuries beyond me. I won't always be around to protect him.
Are you scared? You should be.
Do we run? Or do we fight?
I like this kid.
What are you waiting for? Let's save the rest for after dinner.